The Life Finder keeps Maev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Welcome everybody to the stream. I'm Ziltoid. I'm here to bring you the C West semi-final matchup between the number 1 seed Lurk Patrol and the number 4 seed Plugwalk. Apparently I was listed as one of the people that did this. I do vaguely remember the match during the regular season. I think it was pretty close in gameplay, but I do think that Lurk Patrol came away with the 2-0 victory. They only ever dropped 2 maps, and that was to Periloop. So, a tall order for Plugwalk here. They did take the 2-0 victory over 10 Armor, though, to advance it. And Lurk Patrol took out Rainbow Strike Go to get to this moment. I'm going to pop up the overview because we already have the map chosen. We're going to be going to Infernal Shrines. Lurk Patrol took map pick. Bans were Alterac and Volskaya for Lurk Patrol, Braxis and BOE for Plugwalk. That's how we got to Infernal. And I'm going to let them all know that I'm ready as well. Kind of. Sure that I have the appropriate people.
Hey, Ziltoid.
Yep.
What's your Twitch stream?
LD Ziltoid.
LD Ziltoid?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and I think I just swap out one person. Side. All right, everything is properly updated and ready to go. So I am actually truly ready to go. Just waiting to see when everybody else will be also ready to go. Better pop myself out of here so I don't get any more interruptions. Though that was perfectly warranted one. If you don't know where I'm at, please join my stream. Alrighty, we're going to be starting the matchup right away here. Excited about this. This should be a good set. These two teams haven't seen each other for quite a while. I think it was round 3, week 3, that they actually went against one another. Be interesting to see. Start with the Johanna ban. Of course not. No issues there. Ektar and everyone else in the chat, thank you for saying hi. I definitely appreciate it. If you want to show your appreciation, please do follow the stream. If you have not, subs, biddies, and donations are welcome as well. So we're going to start the match off with everything pretty simple. Looks like a Johanna Garrosh band as well as a Kara Hanzo band. So looking to take out strong tanks on this map as well as good DPS, high impact DPS, but one of those high impact DPS, Kael'thas, is going to be allowed to stay. Now we're going to get on the other side, ETC, which was still available and not banned out, is going to be picked up, and of course so is Sylvanas. Very strong heroes. Open with for sure. Kael'thas isn't strong in every division, but pretty much all the way up to heroic Kievs, so. And on this map in particular, arguably one of his best maps, we're going to get a Stukov Lunara as a follow-up, though, from Plugwalk. interesting move there. I like Lunara. I'm a big fan of Lunara. It's also really good into Kael'thas. Spell Shield more or less negates Power Blast Kael'thas's. So, Lunara is a good pick. See, an Ana ban and a Diablo ban. Again, really targeting the lack of tanks picked early by going after that. But also conversely, we're going to see a bit of a target on the Ana on the other side. But that is going to leave Anduin available. Anduin is a really strong hero. As time has gone on, we've seen the impact of this hero time and time again. But that was the right call on the Gul'dan. Gunny is going to pick that up. And we're going to see Plugwa go into a little bit out of left field Mal'Ganis pickup. So they weren't concerned at all about the bans because they were never going to predict what they were planning on running as main tank. And Betnum's going to finish it all off with a Malthael pickup. I like Malthael. I think he's good on this map. I think he does pressure frontline meleeers pretty well. He's not bad into Leo, but Leo will match the double soak pretty well. And that's your matchup there for you, folks. I'm not sure what to tell you. We got some good sustained damage on both sides. Sylvanas Gul'dan probably a bit better tick damage, but it's really hard to quantify because you also have Kael'thas with the bombs, plus Lunara. Very standard, all-around, considered one of the best tanks in the meta versus a very niche pickup. I'd say not a lot of people have the faith in Mal'Ganis, but I've seen it work, so not to say that it doesn't have some merit. If the player on it is competent, it can be done. That can be said about most everything. In this particular instance, Mal'Ganis can be impactful when played to that level. Last rights also give them some kill pressure, which is kind of nice to see. I also need to switch that off. I apologize. Was not paying attention. Back up here. Let's get the sides up. And on the blue side, we have Lurk Patrol, the number 1 seed. Radic on Leoric. High Def playing Sylvanas. Ace on ETC. Gunning on the Gul'dan. And Ektar playing Anduin. On the red side, we have Plugwalk 2Js on the Kael'thas. Betnum on the Malthael. Kagura on the Stukov Diesel, playing Lunara, and Grumpy in the Mal'Ganis. About the opening handshake, there are your opening. We are going to get Dagger build, bold strategy. We are going to get Spine Launcher. Time to feed. It's hard to always keep track of what's meta with Mal'Ganis. It's not something you see. Also, like Fealty Unto Death, if you're double soaking, you know you're going to be double soaking. That's a really good way to make sure that you have consistent sustain. Though we are going to see a lot of pressure being put on Erratic. Doesn't land the W though, which keeps him mostly alive throughout that exchange. And Grumpy takes a huge amount of damage himself, so it actually kind of evens out one way or another. But both heroes have very good self-sustain. A tap though coming through from Leoric, just getting that up nice and early, making sure that he has the health he needs to walk up into a Malthael. Malthael doesn't really have the trade capability right now, and that is going to be Grumpy going down on the Mal'Ganis. He does get picked off. Nice engagement coming out from Ace. I missed it, of course. See, Betnum making sure he's grabbing the soak here. He's getting good. But I like what Radic is doing here. He's actually freezing the lane up a little bit. He's not fast clearing it at all. So, Malthael really trying to get that double soak in. I'm actually going to pop up the silence again because I don't know if he took on a pale. He did, which is good. You need it if you're going to be doing double soaking. And then it does allow Malthael to be able to go through between the lanes quickly. Even from level 1, he can definitely double soak. Which you can't really say the same thing about Lurk. Lurk needs his level 4 talent to effectively double soak. And even then, he gets much better at it as the game goes on. So Ace is going to gamble a little bit with his life there with Lunara, putting in some poke damage, and a quick rotation come from Betnam. And here is a nice gravity lapse into a double stun and a double sleep. This is actually a bad spot for Lurk Patrol. Gunny might not be able to walk out of here. Ace is going to come in and do a double power slide. It's going to keep him alive, but Gunny still goes down pretty low. Ace now super slowed down, gets a little bit of follow-up, but that's going to be it. Good peel by Ace. Good damage focus there by Plugwalk. The invasion working out. They did grab the camp, and they're going to steal that experience, plus get the damage done, and that's a pretty good invade. Well done. So they're just going to be push up this mid lane. Gunny's really low. He's trying to heal off of it, but they're going to make sure they chase him off to make sure that that life drain doesn't get full value. Lurk still playing the top lane. He's really trying to keep this near his walls, and or he's just getting so out cleared that it's just not working in his favor. We are definitely going to get Neo Peasants, which is, of course, basically the only talent you can take on the Lurk, level 7 or level 4. Quick blast there at the damage numbers. Kel'Thas and Gul'dan, as you might expect in the early game, with their big, consistent damage. And both Sylvanas and Lunara take time to ramp up. So we'll start seeing them competing in damage numbers soon, but it'll take a little while. But one thing I'm going to point out, that Plugwalk is ahead in an EXP and is actually getting good value with that bruiser camp in the top lane. Lurk Patrol now a bit on a timer here, and we're seeing some fantastic play coming from Plugwalk that I just don't think Lurk Patrol was completely prepared for. This Mal'Ganis is definitely causing some issues here, and Gunny now getting super low. Malthael going in for the kill. He might be able to finish it off, but he goes a little bit too deep. There's the power slide from ETC. He's going to finish off the kill, and that is Malthael going down, but they have sacrifice positioning. Ace is going to die now. Lurk, though, in the back here is going to clear up the last bit of minions, and that is going to be an objective pickup, but they are going to trade out a Lurk death for it. So 7s are in place now for Plugwalk. They are slightly ahead in that aspect. Malthael going down, but it's a 2-for-1 as Lurk and ETC did die. It is a Frozen Punisher with the Sylvanas. So Frozen Punishers with Sylvanas do a lot of damage here. I am going to point out to High Def that generally speaking, you don't want to burn your trait on the towers. You want to burn it on the fort, as the fort does more damage. Because you can kill the towers much faster, especially when you have the W's coming out. But that's a good bounce onto Grump. Is going to drop him down, and Mal'Ganis is going to drop. That is going to be a fort and a kill. So ignore everything I said there. Well, don't actually. But in the end, it didn't matter. They got the fort. They got the kill. And that's exactly all you really want to get out of the first protector, or all that you're going to get. Pretty much max value right then and there. But we do see that the soaking was still done really well on the side of Plugwalk. They did take that loss of an objective well, and did make sure that they did not fall behind in the process. But you could argue they are behind given the structure did go down. But it's just one fort. One fort does not win you the game. So Lurk Patrol's got to tighten up some of these fights and maybe try to find a way to see if they can catch up in experience. Plugwalk is playing the macro very well, although mid lane is not being soaked by either. It looks like Malthael is going for the pressure onto Lurk and actually winning this trade very well. And Die Alone getting lots of value. We are going to see a power slide onto Grumpy. And mid lane, though, this is an interesting play, and I like it from Lurk Patrol. They're going to force the rotations to come in. Malthael can't step up here. He gets hit by a root. Those 2 damage dealers can absolutely kill him. Not something that I would want to do, and as we can see, made sure that he didn't do that. Yeah, LP's comp is good, but we have to keep in mind that they're scaling. So the fact that they get an early fort and objective is actually really good for them. And they don't really come online 100% until they hit 10. So speaking of 10s on the side of Plugwalk, as they hit it first, we have Thornwood Vines, we have Carrion Swarm, Flailing Swipe, Last Rites, and Phoenix. And on the other side, we have Horrify, of course, Light Bomb, Stage Dive, Wailing Arrow, and Entomb. The Stage Dive is interesting. I guess they figured that they had enough interrupts, but I would argue that they don't. They have Flailing Swipe, they have Gravity Lapse, and maybe an Unstoppable Mal'Ganis can get it done, but that's it. I really don't think that there was a risk to having Mosh Pit here at all. Whereas Stage Dive, if you're not using the global, it can get value, but it's not. It's like repositional value, so like it's good at getting onto the backliners. But can you do so without getting too far away from your team and getting bursted down? And that's the real question that they have to ask. But the burst damage is good. Like we don't have. It is very much spread damage that we're seeing from Lunara, and the fact that Lunara did not go Leaping Strike kind of adds to that idea that the burst damage is lacking. So perhaps Stage Dive can get the value he needs, as there's just not enough upfront damage, I think, to really threaten an ETC in this situation. Hello, Volk. Welcome to the stream, my friend. So, looking at the C West Division. And there's Mal'Ganis trying to get in there. There's the Carrion Stormer going off. And that's kind of what you can do with Mal'Ganis, is kind of get that initial... But Light Bomb's going to come out. It's going to land onto Diesel and Grumpy. But the last Strites is going to finish the kill. Betnan probably a little bit too far in. Drops to about... And the Horrify finishes off the kill. And actually mispositions Diesel. He could be in trouble. But there is no ETC to follow up the stun onto. So... You know, it's overall pretty good. But here's the thing. ETC has Stage Dive. And this is one of those instances where Stage Dive can be really good. So if they step up on this, with the Stage Dive coming in, which they're going to land onto Kael'thas, Kael'thas could be in big trouble. Where's the damage? It is there. The two frontliners take him out, and that's going to be, I think, a one objective here for Lurk Patrol. Grumpy gets stuck into the Entomb. He is going to heal himself through it, but Kagura is going to drop. Grumpy's going to drop. And that's going to be 3 deaths there that are unanswered by Plugwalk, and that's going to be Lurk Patrol solidifying a lead here in experience, in kills, and now in objectives again, in structures, and now in objectives again. And this objective with the Sylvanas, it's a Arcane Punisher, so high damage, high siege damage. It's got better teamfight damage than the Mortar Punisher does, at least more reliable. And its siege damage is okay. I think the Mortar siege is better, but that's if the Mortars actually land on structures and aren't attacking heroes, which most of the time they are. The Dagger build, I'm not a big fan, actually, in this setup here on High Def. Only 26 stacks on Dagger means that this talent is getting much less value than you would get out of Might of the Banshee Queen. And I really would much prefer to see Q build here with the Remorseless bump at 13. It just gives you way better late game kill and sustain power, especially if you can't get those stacked, which we haven't been able to see. Horrify is going to come out, land onto 3, puts Grumpy over the wall, and that's actually a bad spot. But Carrion Swarm is popped just in time, so he doesn't die there. Arcane Punisher already over the wall. They do take the keep wall down, and the Arcane Punisher is still running. So they're going to be able to put a bit of pressure on here, but Gunny is low. I think he needs to step away, but we do get a silence pool to try to keep Ace in here. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. High Def now in big trouble. I don't think she can peel out of here. This is going to be a kill onto Sylvanas. Radek, I think, is going to be the next one to fall. Ace trying to peel him out, but he really just needs to get out of there. Lurk is going to die. I will say that I'll take through, those 2 deaths do help get Plugwalk kind of back in this game when we're talking about experience. So well done defensively in that sense, but they did almost lose a keep on the second Punisher of the game, which is not what you want to be seeing happening. We did see Last Rites fail on the Gul'dan there, so an unfortunate turn for Malthael. It always does decent burst damage, even in those situations, but you really want it to be finishing kills. But Lurk Patrol's back at it again. Leoric getting ganked. Malthael's going to put the pressure on here. Last Rites is available. He does drop it, but again, he drops it too early. and isn't going to manage to get the kill there. Plus the rotation comes in from Ace in high def, and now he has to back himself out. Flailing swipe is used to just make sure that there's no extra kind of engagement coming in onto Betnon there. It's probably a good play. I would say I don't think it's a bad play there, but 16s is actually going to be won by Plugwalk. It's amazing how well they've been able to soak in this game. And really, this is the big difference we can see. Malthael is at almost 12,000, while Lurk is 4,000 behind at just under 8 from experience soak. And another gank attempt on Erratic is also failed. 7 seconds still on last rights. I think if it was still available at that time, that probably would have been a pickup. In the meantime, we're going to see Lurk Patrol pick up this camp. It's going to be slightly boosted by Mercenary Queen. This is the one map where Mercenary Queen doesn't always get the best value, I think. You could also argue about it on Tomb too as well. But at the same time, these things buffed still do significant siege damage. It's one of those things that's hard to quantify and notice the effect, but anytime you can get Sylvanas into a situation where it can siege with these camps is always going to be super impactful. And it wins the trade in the middle of the lane. And not to mention just the natural auto attacks, what they do from Sylvanas. There was not a vote. I didn't call for a specific vote, but if you want to go ahead and vote, be my guest. Information's a little bit more stabilized here, though, so it's probably a little easier to guess on what's going to happen. We did see Kael'thas go into pretty much the full living bomb build with Ignite at 16. And I think that's an alright course of action. We'll see what his total damage numbers are. And yes, he's fallen behind, actually, not quite Lunara, but he's really fallen behind Malthael. And I have to say, Betnon has been playing Malthael fantastic this game. He's been putting all the pressure onto the enemy heroes. He's been winning most of the trades. And while those last rights haven't been finishing the kills I'd like to see, they're still getting a lot of pressure onto Lurk Patrol. But he is low on mana, and I think that is a problem here. Malthael also in this composition, outside of long-range Kael'thas, but there's the Entomb dropping onto 2 J's. He has to pop a shield to stay alive. Radic is right on his face. Ace trying to get him behind there, but Stage Dive coming out to keep him alive, and it's actually Radic that's going down. Malthael now getting a ton of damage out, but he is out of mana, and this is a problem, and there's no tap. No mana on Malthael means that he just can't do anything. He really needs to back. He's actually going to run all the way back to get a tap. On a Pale Horse will give him that ability, but they're going to see that he's split and try to re-engage here. Grumpy peeling out the team, and now it's going to be a race from Lurk Patrol to see if they can secure this before Malthael can get back in with full mana. And it's a little bit too late. Now the engagement coming through. Malthael looking to see if he can step up, but giving Ace a nice target to drop a power slide onto. But there he is, healing it back up. Gunny taking a ton of damage from 2Js and Betnon, but both of them also trading out a ton of damage in return. And now Betnon's in big trouble. I don't know if he's going to be able to peel himself out of there. It is Grumpy that's going to help him out, but Last Rites goes down, so finishes the kill on Ace. And now it's really hard to say who's going to come out on top here. This is just a brawl-ass fight, and it's really, really good. Diesel is super low. The mid-keep did finally go down. And Malthael actually beat back. I wonder if he just beat back before. Obviously, the tap wasn't enough, and he ended up using up the rest of his mana anyways. He's going back to clear it out. And this just pretty much sacrifices another objective to Lurk Patrol. That was a brawly fight, and I would say it didn't inherently go against a Plugwalk, but I feel like pulling the Malthael back here to try to clear out the mid lane after the keep is gone is just kind of a Monka-S moment. You had a leveraged position. You could definitely have gone back in there, but I think the tap instead of the back was the real problem. And he just didn't have enough mana to keep it going. A little bit of advice I would have for Betnon is not to use E so frequently. It's obviously costing. can I help you? You can get another caster if you don't like how I run the cannon. I know I need to get better at it. But I haven't had any stalls so far. But this is a big push coming out from Lurk Patrol. The Punisher does go down. This 2 keeps out. If they get Grumpy here, that's probably going to cost it. Yeah, I think this is going to be GG. Lurk Patrol's going to pull away with the first win here on Infernal Shrines against Plugwalk. Nara might be able to finish off Radic though, but does get Power Slid. That's going to be the kill. Ace finishes it off, and that is it. Game number 1's GG goes to Lurk Patrol. So yeah, Malthael had a great game and really was putting the team on his back there. But in the end, it wasn't quite enough. I think it really comes down to that top fight. The game really kind of was decided there. And with the Sylvanas, you can't sleep on them getting the objective. Every single time they got one, they got a ton of siege damage done. So Plugwalk, I think if they had, again, had Malthael backed instead of ran back to tap, he would have saved time and he would have had way more mana coming into that fight. And had he had both of those things, I think they would have been able to come out with the victory on that team fight. Because it wasn't going too hard against them. They had the tools they needed. They got the kill onto Ace. You know, yeah, they lost their own one of their their Alganis there, but that's no 1-for-1 trade isn't terrible. Well, there's your talents, everybody, and I'll pop us to a quick break while we figure out where the next game is going to be. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 between Lurk Patrol and Plugwalk. Lurk Patrol clutching out the victory on their map on Infernal Shrines. And we'll be heading our way over to Dragonshire. This is the map pick by Plugwalk. They elected for map pick after the loss. And we're going to see how it goes. Just waiting to see if we get the ready checks coming in from everybody. It'll be interesting to see. Starting up right away here. Oh, get that out of there. So Garrosh again removed. Okay, I had a slight bitrate dip between 728 and 726. But it's mostly staying above 2000. As long as it's above 2, it's good. It's goodish. Good enough. Kael'thas going to be removed this time, and Kira again. So the same band's coming out from Lurk Patrol. So, Anno going to be picked up again. And that's going to be the first pick. Prioritized over ETC, which was very well played by Ace in the last game. And that's going to allow Grumpy to pick it up. And we're also going to get Rexar, strong pick on this map. Diesel's going to be picking up that hero. Diablo Maiev, though. Diablo, good pick on this map. This is great for Roman gank. Ace is going to pick up the Maiev. So again, we're moving mages out of the equation here. But Sylvanas is still available, so either Pluglock wants it for themselves, or they're fine with Lurk Patrol getting it. That's something that I would be fine with. Malthael is going to be removed. I mean, I think we had already decided on who our offlaner was going to be in this setup. But, I mean, if you're concerned about a 4-man Malthael, that could definitely be a thing. Betnan is going to pick up the Greymane instead, and we're also going to get a Brightwing. That's going to help with a bit of the anti-engagement tools. And really kind of back onto what we had before. Harnock's going to pick the Leoric, and Gunny's going to pick up the Gul'dan. And Orphea is going to be the final pick here. Not a lot of mages left over, so kind of ban themselves out of them too as well. That's it. That is your combination. I like the Rexar in the top lane. I think it's going to be decent into Leoric. I like the follow-up ETC stun Brightwing polymorph Greymane damage, and Orphea is very good in those types of situations, so we have good poke. Camp coverage from Plugwalk is also decent with Greymane. Orphea's all right. She's not great. Same thing you could say about her Wave Clear too as well. It's all right. Not great, but it's all right. Her Siege is not great at all, in my opinion, as the cooldowns are too long and they're mostly designed and only really get value off of getting resets. But if you're getting Q resets while sieging, then it's not bad. Yeah, it's a good draft. It worked well into one of our setups. I wouldn't get too hyped there, Ace. But I think it's good. Here we are at the beginning of game number 2. Lurk Patrol versus Plugwalk. Lurk Patrol, Harnock on the Leoric. Gunny playing Gul'dan, Ektar on Anduin, Ace on Maiev, and FPS Nate playing the Diablo. On the other side, we have the red team Plugwalk looking for the equalizer to keep their playoff dreams alive. Grumpy on the ETC, Kagura on the right wing, Betnan playing Greymane 2Js on the Orphea, and Diesel playing the Rexar. I fixed my mouse speed, so perhaps the dragging won't... Well, hopefully if I don't do that, it should feel a little bit more smooth and a little bit less choppy. And hopefully my frame rates stay alive, but that's why I haven't been hosting games, because that's been a bit of an issue. Thank you for pointing out that I was having a little bit... There's nothing I can do about it, though, guys, so... It's good to know, I guess, but there's only so much I can do. So 4-man rotation coming in from Lurk Patrol.
Take control of the shrines.
The good priority on camps. I mean, this play is generally a good one, and I like the ability to pressure Rexar in the top lane. And we're going to see that. Like, Maiev and Anduin are going to pop up here for siege damage. Now, it's not the same siege as you're going to get from Gul'dan. It's not the same siege you're going to get from things, but it is safer siege. Both Leoric and Maiev are much safer, Anduin too as well, in this type of area. And Maiev siege is still decent. Like, it's not bad. It actually, you know, between her two abilities, it does a lot. And that was a lot of damage done even before the camp really got onto the wall. And if they can get this wall down, Rexar has to play further back because it's a scary spot to be in. So Misha's going to die. There's no response to this in the top lane. We see a little bit of pressure coming in on the bottom lane, but the camp is getting way more. Well is gone. Fort is going to be half health, and if there's no major response here by Plugwalk, this is going to be top fort. And that's exactly how I like to see this game played. Now Rexar has no safety. There's no wall to hide behind. There's no well to tap. So he can't just sit behind his wall while the bear stays on the point. Like, there's no safety remaining for him. He is now at risk of being ganked every single time. We did sacrifice a bunch of mid-experience for this, something I would have preferred not to see. Just have Gul'dan in the bottom lane, and that's actually going to be a kill. He steps out too far with too little health, but Grumpy might be traded out here. He does walk away. Maiev is coming in for the rotation, but they're not going to find anything here. Sorry about the delay on the talents. I'll pop them up so everyone can see. You see Leoric and Rexar duking it out in the top lane. Rexar feeling a little more confident as with Gul'dan dead, the chances of a roam and gank coming about is very low. Maiev looking to see if she can find some angles here, but the problem is the Brightwing. If Ace continues to do any of these solo flanks, he's going to find himself in big trouble. You know, if Greymane was there, he'd be dead. So Leoric is doing a great job of moving this lane along, and it is going to give him the window he needs to pop up here. But Misha's really a pain in the ass. We really need a threat here onto to Rexar. But that threat could only really be opened up by Lurk Patrol if they can get one of their roamers up there, like Maiev. Maiev is going to start the engagement, does top out, is able to knock ETC. A lot of pressure coming in, but Greymane's going to find Gul'dan. The life drain's going to come out to keep him alive there, though, and Betnun dropping to extremely low health. In the end, this fight looks like it's going in favor of Lurk Patrol. And Leoric, again, still he's just clearing the wave up. It's like, well, Rexar will have to ignore this wave if he wants to stop me from getting the point. So I like the strategy by Harnock. It's a good one. Rexar does have to stay back here. He can't just step up. If he steps up into this minion wave while Bear is on the point, he's gonna die. Like, the minions will kill him. And that's not even pointing out what can happen from a roaming game. Pretty much standard builds. Grumpy does get flipped. Betnun is really low on health. This is kind of what happens with Brightwing compositions, especially early. Is outside of her teleport. She just doesn't have a lot of ways to keep anyone alive. Like, it's a slow tick of health. And this siege now is going to get a lot done. They already took top fort. Lurk has been effectively putting the pressure on. And look at Diesel now. He's in big trouble down here. I'm going to try to keep an eye on both because Diesel might die here. Is it enough? It is. He does grab the kill. Well played by Harnock. Like, he really abused the fact that Rexar has no safety net. And played that advantage exactly how it's supposed to be done. Rexar can hide behind his fort and his walls. He's gonna get away with it. And this is gonna be the first conversion because map control is completely seceded. Bottom lane is completely sieged out. There's no bottom fort wall. There's no well. There's no top fort. The only well they have is in mid lane. And Dragon Knight, I actually would like to see the Dragon Knight kick Greymane, clear this wave, and actually wipe out that well, because that means there's nothing on their tier 1 structures for sustain from here on out. But they're not going to worry about mid lane. They're going to come down here and secure the fort. My camo work is just terrible. I apologize. Ektar coming in with a nice light bomb onto himself, positioning himself in a very risky position. We saw two Jays try to take advantage of that, and both Gunny and Ektar took quite a bit of damage from the Orphea there. They finally dropped the fort behind them, but there's really not much left on this Dragon Knight. They're going to see if they can get the kill onto Betnun. There goes the Warden's Cage. Maiev seeing if she can get a huge APOC. That's a 3-man APOC plus a tether plus a Q. That's going to be a dead Orphea, and that is exactly how Lurk Patrol was wanting that engagement to go. It was a little risky. I'd say very scary at certain points of that engagement. Maiev at major risk of dying there. But, you know, they got 2 kills. They're going to push up this wave. That's probably going to secure the wall and maybe one of the towers. So, depends if they focus the appropriate tower. No, doesn't look like it. But that's going to be bot camp. Now things have settled down. Pop up the talent so we can take a look at our heroics and our potential 13s, which we just have from Lurk Patrol. Horrify, Light Bomb, Warden's Cage, Entomb, and APOC into Mosh Pit, Bestial Wrath, Emerald Wind, Cursed Bullet, and Eternal Feast. Eternal Feast Mosh Pit combo, pretty classic. But Eternal Feast is on a short enough cooldown that you can kind of spam it out in between mosh pits as well. So Grumpy getting focused. He uses his power slide to find himself out. But we have a double siege camp. That's basically 1.5. In the bottom lane with the Gul'dan, Maiev. So there's lots of dive potential threats here, especially with Light Bomb available. Horrify available. This defense is scary. It's if they step out too far past their keep, All Gunny has to do is drop a mad Horrify onto the backliners, and they're in big trouble. But not wanting to step up into ETC to find that Horrify, we're just going to see them back out instead. And that's perhaps going to be another Dragonite. Yeah, there's no one ready in position to deal with that. Brightwing's going to come in. Gunny taking a lot of pressure from Greymane, but the kick comes through from the Dragonite, and that's going to keep him alive. Good peel. Dragonite taking a bit of damage. They really don't have to push super hard into the middle lane. They did grab the well, though, which I like to see. They might as well just, like, I would clear up the mid wave, take out this mid fort, try to get 16s. You don't have to end on this objective. But it is a shame to waste a Dragonite when there's a Bear Keep open and ready. Right at the bottom. And Lurk loses to the Greymane rotation. I'm actually kind of surprised that Lurk did stay split here if the plan was to go for Siege. I'd like to see him move into the mid lane at least so he can reinforce his team. Now the Greymane can actually pop back out. They might be able to get an engagement out of this, but the Dragonite's going to go down. They get a lot of damage onto the keep, but an effective defense. About as good as you can kind of expect from Plugwalk. They do put a lot of pressure onto Ace. He's now trying to peel out here. Warden's Sketches come down. There's a big fear. Is going to put Betnon actually right into the backline. It is, though, Brightwing that goes down. Maya finding the ways to get the kills. And, but at the same time, the backline here is being just left on its own devices. And that's a 3 for 2. Lurk was not even in that fight. But I feel like Lurk Patrol just felt like they were kind of pressured into that engagement. And taking the counter engage is pretty cool. Ektar, though, taking a ton of damage. Is he going to be traded out for Greymane? 1v1, it's an interesting thing with Orphea. When you've got them on your face, it's kind of rough. Diablo comes through to mess it up, but so does Brightwing. And that's going to be the end of that. Theoretically, Orphea wins that. But Mayav has a lot of different like tools to avoid damage and displace and cause problems for Orphea. Lined up her skill shots there, so. So Diablo going for the armor reduction, but since 13 has not managed to land one wall stun. We're going to see the engagement coming out from FPS Nate just to see if he can get onto Gul'dan, but it is in fact Mayav that gets just collapsed on. That's going to be a big kill for Plugwalk. They might actually be able to start turning things around here as late game Dragonites start getting nasty. Staggering deaths in the late game is really good. Lurk Patrol is really going to need to tighten up and try to avoid losing objective here. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Gul'dan is going to try to stall this out, but it might more or less just end up with him getting attacked. ETC is going to grab it. That's going to be Dragonite. Oh no, the delay did come out. Rexar does go down, but they do still manage to get the Dragonite, so that's going to be Plugwalk. They did lose Rexar for that. But it is the start of things for Plugwalk to maybe start turning around for them in this matchup. Engagement coming out onto Kagura. Even if they can find a pickoff, but the Emerald Wind is enough just to stop that from happening. But this Dragonite has not managed to get anything done. They took down the front wall in a couple waves, but just the amount of damage it's eating is just too high, and it's just going to be going down here without getting much done. In fact, you could argue that the bottom camp might have done more to further the macro here, and a kind of a lackluster victory there. Losing Rexar in the top lane probably wasn't worth it. In the end, they didn't really get anything out of the Dragonite except denying Lurk Patrol. But, you know, oftentimes that's a good enough reason as any. Yeah, I am Mountain Time. Why do you ask? And there is a big engagement coming out onto Rexar's Misha Bear. That's Lurk is finally making his way down here. He's really trying to get his team level 20. Engagement coming out from Grumpy. Trying to see if they can land a kill onto Maiev. Arrow does, or Ace does get the light bomb. Warden's Cage finally coming in, but this is just all kinds of clusterfucking. Here goes Lurk. Finally someone drops in, but it is Brightwind that goes down. Huge tether. Lots and lots of spread damage here. Misha Bear goes down. Betnun is super low. He doesn't really want to step up too far here. Gunny's going to see if they can kind of get something out of this, but it was a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Plugwalk. But Keep did go down. And one of the deaths was Lurk, who's going to be up in just enough time to come up here and stop this top fort from going down. Though he'll probably lose the well. Meantime, Diablo is going to go grab mid-soak. We're going to see camps being picked up by Lurk Patrol.
Knight's power is yours.
Yep, I live right next to the Rockies. There is a big Curse Bullet coming out FPS Nate. Having to use Hellgate to keep himself alive there. Lurk uncontested in the top lane. Plugwalk just roaming as 5 to see if they can get this bottom fort out of the way and at least open up some way to get a win condition going here, as they had not dropped any forts up to this point. So that's going to help kind of balance out the lane. A big engagement on a Gul'dan is actually going to cost Lurk Patrol. 20s are about to be hit by Plugwalk, and with that kill there, this bottom siege could be a problem. Siege camps are still available. They're going to push up right onto this keep. We're going to have to see a 4-man full-on defense here. Flip over on Misha. Bestial Wrath being popped. It's not really going to get a whole lot done. Keep Misha alive for a few more seconds. Betnun seeing if he gets some damage, but Silencing comes out onto Greymane, and he just has to stand there and take it. Nothing he can do, just auto-attacking away. But that's going to be a kill on Lurk. A counter kill coming out. The Emerald Wind, which maybe should have been popped to keep Greymane alive, was not available at the time. And now we're going to see Light Bomb come out. Doesn't land on anybody. Grumpy landing the Power Slide, and this is just a brawl-ass fight at the bottom lane yet again. But a huge tether coming out onto 3, and this is a huge AoE engagement. Oh, Internal Feast is going to come out. It's going to keep hitting Ace. He gets pulled out of it. Have they bought enough time for Gul'dan to make it back? I don't know. Grumpy getting knocked underneath the keep could cost him his life. He's still alive, though. Brightwing keeping them alive just a little bit longer. Bestial Wrath again. Grumpy just doing his best to stay alive. 2 J's gets hit by Tether. Silence in 2. This fight was so long, we saw a second one come out. Fear's gonna land onto the bear and to Grumpy. Now he's in dire straits. The Emerald Wind is being used. Grumpy is still super low. Tether causes the kill, but he does get a death mosh out of it. But unfortunately, all the DPS are dead or respawning. Lurk Patrol managed to claw back a 4v5 under keep. I'm sorry, guys. The lag is kind of unfortunate. I'm not hosting. At least it's getting through the actual match part for the most part. Yeah, I see it. I really don't know what to do. My internet's just is just having one of those days.
The red team's core is in peril.
But it looks like Lurk Patrol is going to be ending this match out right here. Dragonite on the core. Mosh Pit coming out. Light Bomb to stall it. Dragonite's just hitting the core. Lurk Patrol looks like they're going to be taking the victory here. And that's going to be GG's. Now, it seems to be stabling out now. And unfortunately, the stat screen is not going to agree with me. Apologize for the end of the stream there, guys. It was unfortunate. At least it didn't just flat die. But it was not much better than that. So, hope you enjoyed what I was able to show so far. I'll pop here into the interview, see if we can get somebody in. Hey!
Howdy, Ziltoid.
How's it going, guys?
Good, how you doing?
Well, aside from that big giant team fight being choppy as hell on my stream, pretty good.
Good. Well, it's always good to have someone cast the games. Makes them a
Yeah,
lot
as
more
long as you
enjoyable.
can actually see them.
That's
But we
alright.
got most of it. We got most of it. Got a little hairy at the end there, guys.
Yeah, well, if you got most of it, then we can just kind of ignore that little bit of hairiness and me playing like I deserve the deaths I got. I'll just leave it at that.
It got a little scary, but I do think that your team recovered the team fight very well in the bottom lane there. How are comps at that moment where you just kind of like, oh my god, I'm terrible, and they're like, no, it's all good, we got this.
No, fortunately, I draft the people I draft because they can carry my scrub ass when I start feeding. But we were just focusing on the advantages we had, what kills we could get. We saw that we could kill Misha, and that would turn off a lot of Rexar abilities, and then we were able to pick up another hero and start pulling it back from there. So that was what comps were like. We weren't really calling out my inting, but I was in my head. But we focus on what advantage we can get, not the mistakes we've made. That's kind of how our comps have always been. So it's just another example of how that works out well for us.
So game number one, you guys were actually in a lot of situations falling behind in experience and some of the other stuff, but you were able to secure the objectives. Do you think that the Sylvanas was just too strong in that game?
Oh, a little bit. We yielded a little bit of XP for map positioning so that we were on the shrines a little bit faster. That was the goal. So we knew that we'd be down a little XP, but we just made sure that it wasn't a talent tier, so the XP difference wasn't a huge deal. So that was the idea, and then Sylva's obviously one of the best snowball heroes in the game. So we took the objective and pushed in, so that was the plan.
In the kind of the final fight that ended the game in the top lane, the Malthael had ran back to his well, then popped back into the fight, and then ended up having to back to go grab the mid soak after the keep was dead. And I kind of hypothesized that had he, because you guys ended up trading both frontliners, had he actually beat back and then came in the first time instead of going for the tap, that fight might have gone a little bit worse for you.
It might have been. I believe I still had Horrify available to me at that point in time. But man, that Malthael was raining terror on us game one. He played well. He played real well. My hats off to him. But yeah, and just having that player in that fight very much could have turned it.
Yeah, it was a scary thing, and Malthael, yeah, he out-soaked, he siege damaged well, he did everything that you could possibly do on a Malthael, but in the end, you guys were the ones winning the objectives, and and in Heroes of the Storm, if you're winning objectives, most times that means you're winning the game.
Yep, that's the idea, unless you're playing Juice Pirates.
Now, you guys took the map pick on the first map. When you lost, they went for map pick. Were you surprised by that, or were you kind of expecting both teams to have a bit of a priority on map choice?
It's kind of a tough read. I've noticed that a lot of teams in at least C tend to favor picking the first hero over the map. We favor map. I find that my team, when we know what our macro calls are, we just play a little bit more in control. So for them to pick map when the chips are on the table like this doesn't surprise me too much. It's just, if there's a map your team's comfortable on, it ends up being a little bit better than heroes in a lot of cases, especially if the other team isn't going to take a hero that you want in pick. So you only have to worry about 2 bans, which is nice. So
game number
I'm
2.
not too surprised about that.
I'm always a little nervous about Gul'dan as the backup damage. Is it just because it's a comfort? Especially once you start getting structures down and you're pushing up so far into the lane, you don't have a lot of options to get out of things if an engagement comes in behind you.
I mean, yeah, but that's the case with a lot of the area damage dealers. I mean, if I take Kel'Thas, they can burn through my shield pretty easily, and a lot of times I don't even take the shield. Much to my healer's dread. Same thing with Hanzo, same thing with Orphan for a lot of parts. So it's more a comfort to us. Horrify is amazing in team fights.
Of course.
Silence and force movement is great, so if they can't engage on you, then you don't really have to worry about running away from them. So that's kind of the idea with that. It's also just a comfort for our team. We like drafting Gul'dan. I think it works well with our team.
So you guys bankered really well on that map in particular with the Bruiser camp early, pushed that down. Were you surprised there was no response, or were you kind of expecting them to kind of be frozen in place and not sure what to do there?
Well, kind of just rolled with it. We weren't planning on pushing down the top fort that quickly. I mean, I don't think any strategy that involves taking a fort before level 4 is a good strategy. But we noticed that they were pushing hard bottom, and we had Gul'dan to defend. So if you can use Gul'dan's defensive power, then we'll just take a fort for... I think we lost towers in that instance. So, whatever. Towers for a fort. Good trade for us. That's kind of the
I
idea.
don't even think the towers went down. I think they took damage, but I think they might have killed one.
Yeah.
It was clearly a better trade. So you guys looked like you had good control over the map, understood what you needed to do on it, and drafted accordingly.
Rumor has it we've picked up a good scrim partner that can kick our teeth in when we make bad macro calls on that map.
Looking forward, though, this puts you into the division finals. I can't remember. Have you guys been here before?
The finals?
Yeah.
Nope, this is our first time in the finals. This is the first time that we haven't been the 8th seed in bracket. So this will be our first time to hopefully clinch our division. So that'll be nice.
Well, that's a big thing. I'm glad you guys made it this far. Paraloot, Tickle Me Tassadar, which one do you want to play?
I mean, we 2-0'd both of them, but I'm scared of Tassadar. They've picked up some good players. They've been playing really well this season, and they'll take us a lot more seriously in a second match. But I'm pretty sure the rematch between the two of us has been hyped up for quite some time, and it would be a shame for it not to happen.
Do you think Paraloot has what it takes to take out Tickle Me Tassadar?
I think any team can beat any other team if the conditions are right. If they know what to do, I think they can do it. But they got to know what to do, and they got to come swinging.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad to see you guys making it so far. You've played a wonderful season so far, one of the best in NGS, period. And and I think everyone's excited to see how far you can take it. Hopefully all the way to the grand finals. Any shout outs you have before we take off today?
I got to shout out all the members of my team. We're an 8-man team, and so Bickle had to not play tonight so that we could play the other 7. So I appreciate that for him and sticking up and supporting us. We've got a lot of Can't Counterpick Stupid members cheering us on today, so I got to shout out to the people viewing in the stream. And shout outs to Plugwalk. They played a really good game. It was really enjoyable.
I'm also going to correct you. Apparently, you guys lost in the regular season to Paraloot.
Oh, well, I'm not the stats guy.
It was the 7th ace in Ektar, actually, pointing that out in chat. So
they live to correct me. It's fine.
Anyways, I appreciate you coming in here to chat with me, Gunny. You guys have a wonderful night, and good luck in your next match.
Thanks, you too. I hear you guys are playing tonight, so good luck.
Yep, half an hour or 25 minutes.
Better get ready.
Oh, yeah. Have a good night.
All right. You too.
Alrighty, folks, that's going to be it for me tonight. As already stated, I have my own match to get to very soon here, so gonna get right on that. However, if you haven't already, please hit the follow button, and if you're feeling extra generous, the sub button, of course, is there, as well as the donation chip jar at the bottom, as well as biddies are very much welcome. And yeah, hopefully we can continue the playoff coverage going forward, and hopefully my team makes out a win tonight. So hoping for both. Thanks everybody for showing up. Have a wonderful night. We'll catch you again next time in the Nexus.